Hi guys, today we're making Pâté Chinois, which is pretty much like a shepherd's pie, and this is a dish from Quebec in Canada. So a couple different things I have. For tools you will need a knife, a peeler, just normal utensils, a cutting board, and then, Camper, can I have that please? Sit. Can I have it, Camp? Leave it. Can't believe it. Drop. 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 Oh, good boy! Good boy! You still recording? I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, so I don't even know. So the cutting board, knife, peeler, and then I'm going to use my cast iron skillet just because it's less dishes, and then it's all just in one place, pretty easy to assemble. I can use this on my stove and then I can pop it straight into the oven. If you don't have a cast iron, then you would just use a normal pan, and then you could use a dish similar to this one. I think this is a 2.2 quart or 2 liter not metal, glass pan. Really any oven safe dish like that. But like I said, to make it easy, I'm just going to use my cast iron, so I won't need this. For actual ingredients, quite a few different things you need. Not pictured here are your potatoes. I already peeled my potatoes, and then I made them exactly how we did with la tartiflette last week. Except I peeled them first, and then I sliced them up and quartered those slices into pretty thick chunks and made sure they were all uniform, about the same size. And then I put them into cold salted water, and then I put them on the stove, started out high until they boiled, brought it down to a simmer until they were ready, just like we did with the other potatoes, except this time I started with them peeled and with them cut up. So I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. The main star of the show would be your ground beef. So you need about 1 pound of ground beef. It also depends on the size of the family that you're feeding. For me, I'm just gonna do 1 pound. That would be perfect for this size skillet. Then you will need cream style corn. They have this, it's super cheap. I have 2 cans of it, but you can get it at Market Basket. Really any grocery store, just in the canned vegetable aisle. And then I have half an onion. Like I said last time, I don't love onions, so if you like them, go ahead and chop up a full one and put it in there. I'm just going to do the half. Then, of course, we have potatoes, which I don't have, and for those mashed potatoes that we're putting on top, I have some milk. This is oat milk. You can just do regular milk. Somebody finished it with the chocolate chip cookies, so this is all that I have. You can add sour cream if you like. It really depends on the way that you and your family like to make mashed potatoes. So you can throw some sour cream in there. You definitely need some milk and some butter. And then, of course, black pepper, salt. A couple things that I'm going to throw in with the meat and possibly with the potatoes is some garlic powder, some thyme. If you don't have this in your cupboard already, it's not a big deal. And then some paprika. And then, of course, butter. I don't know if I said that yet for the mashed potatoes. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I just diced up my half an onion, threw it in my pan over like a medium heat. I threw in just a tiny bit of olive oil to get it going. So I'm gonna leave these here to caramelize a little bit while I work on the potatoes. Okay, so my potatoes are already cut. This is about the size that they are. Some are a little bit bigger. They're around all the same size though. So I just cut them into rounds, and then I quartered those rounds. It's awful, but, and then that's what I put into the water. So now that they are fully cooked, I strained them in the sink, and now I'm going to put them back into my pot. And I'm going to add the milk and the butter and then mash. Okay. Oh, you need a potato masher, duh. Okay, so a couple things I forgot to mention. Of course, you're gonna need like a measuring cup for your milk, and then a potato masher. So this is actually pretty important. If not, you can try to do it with forks if you don't have something like this. You just gotta mash them up. So I'm gonna start with about 1/4 cup of milk, and I will pour it into my potatoes, and then about a tablespoon of butter. You can just eyeball it, honestly. So I'm gonna put about that much in, and then I will adjust it to taste. So now I'm just going to mash it up with the butter and the milk. Okay. Okay, so once I have my onions pretty browned, I'm going to add my ground beef. The onions will continue to cook. Oops. And then I'm just going to mash this up. And then we're gonna let it cook. Okay, so my ground beef is just about done. You really don't want any pink in it. I could even let this cook a little bit longer, but I'm going to add some of these spices to it, and then we should be good to assemble this. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of both the thyme and the paprika to the ground beef and onion mixture. If yours has a ton of grease in it, you're going to want to drain it. Mine's actually pretty okay, so I don't need to drain the grease from this. If you are draining it, make sure you do not put it directly in the sink. You're going to want some type of metal can to put the grease in and dispose of it that way. If you put it in a plastic cup, it will most likely melt the cup, and then you'll just have a big mess, and that's not good. But as I said, mine looks pretty okay, so I'm just gonna leave what's in there. But I'm going to do a tablespoon of each of these, or a teaspoon, excuse me. You can add a little salt to this if you'd like to. I'm gonna leave it as is, but if you like salt, you can add that. Now I'm going to turn off the heat because it looks pretty good, and my oven is preheated to 350. Okay, so now that this is all set and cooked, I'm going to add my cream style corn. It looks kind of gross, it's super soupy, but I promise it kind of all melts together and it's not as gross as it looks. So we're gonna add this to the top in a layer. I may need that second can, but let me see how far I can stretch this one. Also, if you are using a cast iron like I am, they do get hot on the stove, so make sure you are testing the temperature of the handle before you grab it. Okay, so I am going to add, I'm going to start with just half a can. Oh, that looks gross. Can't be. It's okay, bud. So yeah, if you are using a larger pan than this, I would definitely, or dish, I would definitely go the full 2 cans. I'm gonna say I'll be at about 1.5. I think this is more than enough, because some of this will cook down just a little bit. Okay, so I have a healthy layer of the cream style corn. Now I'm going to add my mashed potatoes. And I did end up adding some more milk and butter to this just so I could get it the consistency that I wanted. And then I just sprinkled on some garlic powder, did a couple of cracks of pepper and a couple of salt. So that's all to taste. There's no true measurement. Just give it a little bit however you want. Yep. Okay, so now I am just going to spoon this on. Just use my spoon. We're gonna spoon it straight on the top. Also, I forgot to mention, if you are not using a cast iron, obviously the first layer, you're just going to want to do your meat mixture and then the creamed corn on top of that. And then you will top it off with the mashed potato. Okay, so mine is all set. I'm just gonna add some more pepper on top just because. And then it is ready to go in the oven. One thing I am going to do, not gonna make the mistake from last time, I know that this will bubble up on the sides. So I'm going to put a pan underneath it. That way it'll catch the spill. It shouldn't spill too much, but I know that the corn does start to bubble up when it's done. So I'm just gonna take a pan. You can line it with aluminum foil if you want to. So I'll just put that underneath it so that it can catch the spill. Like I said, be careful because if you're using a cast iron, this might be really hot. Mine has cooled down, so it's okay, but make sure you check the temperature first. And then it's gonna go just straight into the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then it is good. So I'm just about to take it out. It's starting to sizzle. It's a good thing I put the pan on underneath because there is a piece of it that is starting to, camper back, that is starting to spill out a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this out. And there we are. I did add quite a few pats of butter on top. That's what this is, about 10 minutes ago. And all in all, this cooked for about 40 minutes for me. Typically you want to see the bubbling up on the sides. So once you start to see it get a good bubble on the sides, and it is good to go. And you can go ahead and take it out.